Tagawa boo. Tip.
Nagriba wabas. Sharizi, Didi Danu.
Ajifta ajub.
Bimbalap. Lini Bebjo. Disnurk. Johaba, Didi Banu. Sharizi, Didi Danu. Ni Babi, Bognish. Lini Buja. Ujar.
Ja.
Alibi, Baba Zuni. Bazuni. Sharizi, Didi Dan.
Smita vu.
Yeah. Rah. 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 Eba Zak. Selena Hadi Alu. Uzaba, Inabazuga. Juze. Izabana.
Hi everyone, welcome back to MySims Kingdom. Here we are in the Forest of the Elves. This is a little bit of a shorter level, still have a lot of the requisite cutting stuff out, mostly just looking for essences and whatnot. Although I'm showing off here some of the stuff that you can find by shaking the trees, fishing, doing the prospecting, pulling up the little dandelions, all that good stuff, just giving you a little lay of the land before we jump into the level proper. As you could tell from that opening cutscene, our like most levels in this game, it's probably getting a little bit repetitive at this point, that, yeah, we've arrived on a new island that has fallen on hard times. In this case, all of the aminals have left the beautiful forest because it sucks. So now we have to make it better. So, and yeah, there's a robot here who is a tree. And you'll notice that that robot looks very similar to Tobor from earlier. And I'm pretty sure they have something to do with each other. I do not remember. I know that you can, like, wake that one up and do something, but I don't remember what it was. And it's completely optional as far as I'm aware, so I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing it. I've done it before, but I don't remember what you have to do, and I might not do it. So, we'll see. Anyway, hi. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm recording this pretty late on Tuesday night, hoping to get it up on Tuesday night. Yeah, I've been having a little less hectic and busy of a week at work so far, so let's hope that that continues. And yeah, I don't know. I've outside of that and like just the stuff that I've had to do like around the house and whatnot the last week or so, I've kind of like not known what to do with myself after vacation, because a lot of the time when I have downtime and I'm not working, I just kind of want to sit on my ass and not really do anything in particular. Liv and I have been watching through The Mandalorian, which I've never watched before. We didn't have a Disney Plus subscription for a while. And, you know, it was one of many shows that, for a time, like, around when Season 1 premiered and around when Season 2 premiered, it was something that a lot of people in my social circle were raving about and telling me that I should watch. And, oh, we got a sinister boot. Okay. Never got around to it though, but I am watching through it now, and it's pretty good. It's fine. It's, you know, good fun Star Wars stuff. I honestly think that Star Wars as a franchise might actually be better suited to television and episodic entertainment than movies, at least nowadays. You know, yeah. I think I have talked enough about Star Wars and Star Wars fandom over the course of my 300 something videos that I've uploaded on this channel by now. Anyway, we have to find the ancient striped fish, which I'm pretty sure is the koi. It is the koi. So, yeah. But anyway, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's kind of a generic sort of nature thing. I never really enjoyed this level growing up because, I don't know, I was never into... I had never really got into anything like pixie or fairy related, which as I'm saying that now, realizing that I used to watch a lot of Fairly Odd Parents, but that's not really what I'm going for, you know. I never got into a lot of fiction stuff that had like forest nymphs and things like that, you know what I mean? Or elves, for that matter. It just wasn't my thing growing up, but I have more of an affinity for it. I just don't think that this level is, like, all that interesting, but it's kind of nice to have a kind of just straightforward and chill one, and, you know, it's nice enough. It's nice little grassy areas, and there's 2 places to fish, and, I don't know. Some of the essences you get here are cool. I like organic, how it's just a leaf. And even though I'm pretty sure there is also an essence called Leaf, if I'm not mistaken, I'm probably wrong. Yeah, there's a shitload of bass in all of these fucking places, so I have a lot of bass, and I can't think of a single thing in this game. I'm sure I'm going to encounter one at some point, and I'm probably going to need like 75 bass, and I'm going to be so mad that I didn't get more bass. But I can't think of any missions where a character wants you to include a lot of bass in something, or you have to catch a lot of bass for the scroll. I'm just going to keep saying bass like that, because it's pretty funny to say bass in that way. Anyway, now we have a cool water pipe thing to do. So that's fun. I get to probably make a fool out of myself again with this. As always, I mean, I haven't really gotten much feedback on it. Probably because, I mean, this isn't the most popular game of all time. But, although I do know some people who are nostalgic for these MySims games. I mean, I'm sure, you know, at least a couple people were, I would wager. But I actually saw a post. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because the character I'm referring to won't be showing up in this game until either the next segment or the one after that. It depends on what level I do next. I have not recorded that far yet. But she's a character in the first MySims as well. She's Violet. She's a goth GF, and in the first game you just build a regular goth house for her, but in this one she is, I believe, a sister to Poppy, and I think she's Poppy's sister in the first MySims game as well, but I don't know if that's just a weird headcanon thing that I made up when I was a kid, because, yeah, when I was a kid, I, like, came up with a bunch of, like, extended backstories for some of my favorite characters from the first game. Now that I'm really thinking about it, and I'm going all over the place. Okay, let me finish my original point. Well, my original point was about how I haven't really gotten any feedback on my strategies in this game, so I don't know if the way that I do these water pipe and electrical piece puzzles are like, you know, complete fucking Rube Goldberg machines that don't make any sense. I'm sure in terms of, like, use of mana, I'm not doing everything in the most efficient way possible, but it doesn't really matter. And then the second thing that I was going to say as an offshoot from that is talking about a tweet I said that was specifically talking about Violet and saying that they wanted to smoke a blunt with her. So yeah. I don't know if it eventually makes you get out if you just sit there. She's grinding up some weed with one of those little things. I want to get one of those things. I had a roommate in college who had one of those little grindy, stony things. I don't know what you call those, but I think they're pretty cool. It makes you feel like, you know, you're a fucking hobbit or something. That you're... I don't know. I used one once while helping my brother make Christmas dinner one time. I forget what we were grinding up. I think we might have been making guacamole. I might have been smashing up an avocado. But it made me feel like I was, you know, making a dish in like Game of Thrones or something. Just feels cool. Anyway, yeah, now we're trying and at this point mostly failing to convince this frog boy to take his Ritalin, essentially, so that he stops being fucking weird. I mean, he's still gonna be dressed as a frog and hopping around and saying sproing in between every sentence after this, so I guess we're just managing things and not, like, curing him of his ailment. His frog. I guess it's not bad to be a frog. And yeah, they call it a broth, but it's like an elixir of some variety. And it is, like, understood to be some kind of calming agent. Like, you don't drink broth out of a test tube. That's a fucking drug. We have drugged him. Hopper broth. Yeah, you just call it whatever you need, buddy. Anyway, I was going to say, reflecting on what I was just saying about how my headcanon when I was a kid, when I was playing this game, I've realized that, you know, going back, you know, for the last, what's it been, 2 years that I've done this Let's Play channel, you know, obviously, like, licensed games have been probably the most consistent, like, specific genre thing that I've done for games. I don't know why I'm showing myself saving. I guess I just forgot to edit it out. Whatever, it's like 10 seconds, who cares? I was just doing it for, you know, for safety. But I think another sort of recurring theme with most of the games that I've played so far on this channel is stuff that I grew up with, and just coincidentally, a lot of that is, you know, tends to be licensed games, but not all of them necessarily. But you know, a part of the joy and appeal in doing that for me, other than just playing games that I, like, am familiar with and already, like, know stuff about, and I'm usually okay at least I think so. Like, I've beaten them before, at the very least. And so the appeal of that has been not only that, but, you know, kind of for myself, thinking about why those, you know, how I grew up, and why I enjoyed the things that I enjoyed then, and why I feel the way I do about the games I play now, and, you know, the way I feel about playing these games now, again, and stuff like that. And I'm just now noticing, I've taken so long to get to this point because my brain is made of pudding, I'm just now noticing that I think a lot of the enjoyment that I got out of games when I was a kid was just shit in my head. It wasn't really always anything to do with the game itself. I think there are several games that I grew up playing that I still like, that I like, having played them now, I think are good games and I think are fun. But when I think about, like, the stuff that, you know, I spent the most time thinking about with these games that I played, it was stuff like the stuff in MySims, where when I was a little kid, I would play the first MySims game, and as I was moving in all of these people and everything, I would be, like, in my head, making a little story out of it. And, I mean, obviously there is a very, you know, thin story to it, like, just in terms of you are the man, you move in the people and build their homes, and then at the end, you're done. But, you know, coming up with, like, choosing which characters I liked or didn't like, and, like, playing the game accordingly, even though it didn't affect the game at all. And then with, like, Battle for Bikini Bottom, I've talked about before how because I could never beat the game when I was a kid, and I was basically just playing up to the same point over and over again, and only ever seeing, you know, those same levels. Part of the fun was just, like, thinking about what happens when you beat the game, which in reality, of course, is, like, almost nothing. But you know, in my head, as a 7-year-old, I came up with all sorts of things, and just ideas for other SpongeBob games in general. Another thing, unsurprisingly to a lot of people who know me, is that when I was growing up and I really liked a video game, I would usually try to think of what a movie would be like of it, because I was a little child and I had the exact same thought process as a lot of modern Hollywood executives, where I look at literally anything that is popular that I like and go, this could be a movie. In fact, it could be a whole franchise of movies. Like Club Penguin and Toontown, obviously I got enjoyment out of just playing those games with my friends when I was a kid, but I also I wrote out a whole synopsis of a whole plot of a Toontown TV show with my player character, my and my friends' characters as the main characters. And I did a similar thing for Club Penguin. That's just kind of like what my brain would do when I liked something when I was a little kid. And I'm just now really thinking about that. Like, I'm only coming up with a few very similar examples right off the top of my head, but just thinking about it now, I know that there's probably some example of that in everything that I've played, and it really was, like, a big part of the appeal of playing a lot of the games that I played and got into when I was a kid, was just stuff that existed completely outside of the game and really didn't have anything to do with the game itself or the construction of the game or anything like that, or the aesthetic for that matter. I mean, obviously, on some level, probably a subconscious one, those things did affect me. Obviously, I gravitated towards some games and not others. But that kind of stuff, you know, thinking at all critically, or even just, like, within the confines of the game itself and, like, the elements of the game itself and how I react to them, is very new for me. Like, that's a pretty recent phenomenon. Most of the time, I feel like I've been doing these flights of fancy in the ways that that I talked about. But, yeah, anyway, that's kind of interesting. It's probably not interesting to literally anybody else but me. If you haven't been living inside of my brain for 24 years like I have, then this probably isn't that cool of a revelation to you. And you've probably gathered it yourself if you've listened to my commentary on other stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyway, the animals are back, but the unicorns aren't. And in order to get the unicorns back, We need to do a rock concert. Yes, this level, just like the last one, is going to end with an epic concert, so pretty good. I've been talking for a while now. I'm going to drink my wine and then my water, and then I will talk more. I don't usually have a drink when I'm recording these videos, let alone a wine. If I do have a drink while I'm recording, it's usually because I'm recording right before I'm going to do a stream or like get on a call with someone, like play a game or watch a movie with someone online. In which case I'll normally have a beer, but me and Liv went out to dinner last week with her aunt and uncle, and we, as a table, for the table, ordered a couple bottles of wine, and there was a little less than half of one left over that they let us take home, and it's just kind of been sitting in the fridge for a few days, so I figured that tonight I would just finish it off. And I also needed to do this, so here we are. So before we get to the concert, while I'm still making this stage properly beauteous for the concert, the nature setting and everything of this level has me thinking about, I really would like more nature shows to watch. I'm a big fan of those. They're a good thing to put on at night because they're usually pretty soothing. And I love the Planet Earth series. I wish that they would make more. I know that they take like 10 years and like $2 billion, and I mean, I watched the making of how they made either Planet Earth 2 or Our Planet. They're basically the same thing, but I watched this behind the scenes of how they made it, and specifically they tried to get footage of like this leopard or something, or tiger or something that's endangered, hasn't been seen. There's like 9 of them, and it's like never been filmed before, and so these dudes had to like hide out in this box in the woods, like in the mountains, for like weeks, just waiting in this tiny box that was basically just barely big enough for like a bed and their body and the camera, and it had a little hole peeking out of it because they couldn't just stay there, and they couldn't leave the camera just unattended. And yeah, they were there for like months, all to get like 15 seconds of footage of this cat. And when it happens, the dude in the box, fucking comes. He's like, oh my god, I finally did it. And all kinds of stuff, like the making of, all of the underwater footage in nature docs, I like can't believe it, because especially having watched some of the old diving films by Jacques Cousteau from the 50s, like with comparatively very rudimentary like diving and filming equipment. It's pretty cool. And I also like, ones that aren't so soothing, but stuff like Storm Chasers and Deadliest Catch and stuff like that. We don't have Discovery Plus, which that's the streaming service they're all on now. I hate this endless dance with the streaming services, but I need to finesse some logins. If anybody has a Discovery Plus account that they're willing to let me mooch off of, drop your username and password in the DMs, so I can watch Deadliest Catch. But I also like just pleasant documentary shows. Like, I love How It's Made and Unwrapped. I like footage of things being made. So if you have any recs for shows or YouTube channels of stuff like that, You know, just people doing handiwork, or, you know, talking about the... I don't know. I don't really, like, understand or care about a lot of technicalities and stuff like that, but I just enjoy looking at it happen. And usually those kinds of docs have, like, a person with, like, a pretty neutral, soothing voice. And that's always nice. So yeah, I need some more stuff like that in my life, to sort of counterbalance all the other whack shit that I consume. Anyway, that was Forest of the Elves. Nice little chill time there. We have a couple possibilities open to us, so next time we're going to do either Qtopia or Spookane, whichever one tickles my fancy in the moment. So see you then for that.